Lyndon Coombs is from Burton, and
Is he 2-0?
2-0, big heavyweight,
Yes.
130 kilos, I think, and
The unmovable object.
bro,
And he's on a journey as well.
Now for the fourth bout, the first fighter coming out is Lyndon Coombs.
You have to eat the dream. You have to sleep the dream. You have to dream the dream. You have to see when nobody else sees it. You have to feel it when it's not tangible. You have to believe it when you cannot see it. You gotta be possessed with the dream.
By the time I was in the ring, fighting as the away fighter to a big South East London crowd, I discovered internal motivation and reasons why I wanted to be in the ring. Walking into a war I felt prepared for, seeing it as a huge opportunity to make a name for myself in London. I put myself through the cardio needed to work through the rounds, and I had been going to boxing classes working on my technique. The song I chose to walk out to is Wins and Losses by Meek Mill, and that is my gym song. The speech by Eric Thomas at the start always hits differently for me. His words have got me through some of the most difficult physical and mental challenges. True words that are a call to action, that tell you to believe and be obsessed with your dream. Nobody cares about your dream until you do. By the time I was in the ring, in this battle, I discovered I had the ability to be disciplined and commit towards an end goal. However, the journey leading up to this point was very bumpy. Let me paint the picture for you. February 2022, in the middle of my first year at university, 165 kilograms, eating my way to an early grave. Mental health was completely non-existent, living with toxic flatmates who went out their way to make you feel uncomfortable in the flat. I was anxious to be in the kitchen as it was a heavily utilised room, so I would buy food from the corner shop or get takeaway food. The only times I would leave the flat would be to go get food or go to work. At the time, I was working for Just Eat, so being in and out of fast food restaurants whilst on the job nearly guaranteed that I would be eating fast food at the end of my shift. I could spend multiple days without seeing sunlight, staying in bed. My room was the only place I felt comfortable in the whole of London. I was missing university lectures, and my anxiety would spike every time I thought about returning to lectures, so I would just sit in the flat. I hated everything about that situation. Depression isn't a phrase I would use without reason, and for most of my life I've been fortunate not to have encountered it, but for a large period of my first year I was truly in a depressed state. And this showed in my living environment. This is a representation of how my room would look in my previous house share at the time. Bed barely made up. Desk covered in clutter, also a stash of unhealthy food readily available. Clothes just covering the bed. My mind was just as cluttered as my room, and the lack of respect I have for my living conditions represented the lack of respect I have for myself. As much as I knew I needed to make big changes in my life, I didn't have the willpower to push through. Logically, I knew I needed to eat healthier and get back into going gym regularly, but I was in survival mode. From the first month I moved into that house share, I was counting down the months and weeks until my tenancy ended and I could move on to a better environment. At the start of February, I knew I had 2 months left until I was free to move into student accommodation when my day-to-day life was going to be better, and I had accepted the conditions that I was currently living in. There was zero internal motivation to change. And then I came across a post from my future online fitness coach, Jack Jakes, aka JJ Transformations. This was a man who had undeniable proof he knew how to take people through a transformation process and get people into the best shape of their life. I was at a point where, although I wasn't disciplined enough to change my own health situation, I'd like to continue content of people who were on the right path. This was a man who was the same age as me, grew up in a similar area, and was absolutely smashing it in terms of health, fitness, and his reputation. All my friends and a lot of people in my local area knew about his online coaching business and the success of his service, even though he was mainly based in Dubai. Here is a clip I've taken from the Total Mental Performance podcast that explains mainly what Jack does for his clients.
Tell everyone what it is you actually do.
So I am an online coach, as most coaches that come on this podcast, and what I try and stem it from is it is body transformations that I do, but I try and do a lot more than that. So when somebody comes to me in a position where they are now, whether it is frustration, whether it is they haven't been able to achieve what they want to achieve, I want to take them from a position where they are now, build a vision for them to put them to where they want to be, both physically and mentally. And I think we're trying to do a good job, and I think we have built some incredible systems, with the team, and we are producing world-class transformations now. What I think anyway on a week-to-week and monthly basis. It's mainly based around kind of young males, really, similar to positions that I've been in before. and we kind of build them up, give them that confidence they need, and really give them that structure and discipline in order to achieve those kind of results that they're looking for.
It wasn't an easy decision to initially join Jack's online training program. Although I had no doubt becoming a client at Jack's would be a net positive on my life, I did struggle to make the commitment to sign up to his coaching. I knew that financially I would definitely struggle to pay his coaching costs in the future, as I was a student living in London, the most expensive city in the UK, working part-time. However, I knew the value of having a coach in your corner that wants you to do well and is able to provide external motivation and accountability when you may struggle to find it within yourself. This was due to the fact that the previous summer, I started working with Morgan, who is a high school friend of mine and a PT. I reached out to Morgan because I'd recently signed up for a charity boxing fight and I wanted to come as fit as healthy as I could to have the best chance of winning the upcoming fight. He committed me to 2 PT sessions a week, which I was doing on top of 2 boxing training sessions that I had to go to, working part-time and trying to fit in regular gym sessions. This was a period over 3 months, and Morgan's sessions were not easy, but I felt the benefits. When I found out who my opponent was, I was very confident that I could beat him, as I just knew that throughout the camp I had committed more effort towards my training. I still remember the nerves of this night. I had 3 tables of 10 people that had all come out to watch me fight, and they'd parted with their time and their money to do so. The pressure was on. My friends and family would never let me get over it if I put in a bad performance. It was the first fight of the night. There was no time to settle into the evening. In my hometown, in front of friends, family, and future potential dates. Phones everywhere, friends chanting your name. At this point, my thoughts and feelings did not matter. You just wanted to put on a show for the crowd. Life's good. I know you lot have seen, obviously like you all saw that I won my boxing fight, did it for charity, great cause. Honestly, like, that was such a relief. I felt so much pressure, like, because I'm one of those people, things when you bring people out and they pay good money to see you want to get the result, and we did. So that's like, mate, that's amazing. This video was taken a week after the fight, and I had just moved to London for university. You would think winning a boxing fight the week before moving would put you on a mental high, and all the habits and work that I implemented months prior would create the foundation for a successful next stage of life in the capital. So did I, to be honest with you. However, less than 6 months later, I was in the worst physical and mental state possible, and I was self-sabotaging any chance of fixing myself. I knew that the best chance of getting back on the right path towards my goals was external accountability and guidance. So when Jack reached out to me and offered to hop on a call to discuss my current health situation and future goals, I was already receptive to the idea of paying for someone to keep me motivated and accountable. On the call, Jack asked about my reasons for wanting to improve my health, and he stated that he only wanted to work with people that were committed to getting a result. In the end, I had enough money to make the first monthly payment, and I had thought the potential upside of having his guidance and accountability is going to clearly outweigh any negatives of the cost of his service. Honestly, I get scared thinking about what my life would be like now if I never made a commitment to my weight loss journey with Jack. There are a number of things that Jack put in place to help me to push through the mental barrier and go to action. These included an Instagram story telling his and my followers that I started working with him, weekly check-ins where he expects me to be honest about my progress, a group chat full of other people who are also on the journey towards their transformations, posting big wins in the group. An exercise program that he tailored specifically to my end goals, which he regularly checked in on and was posting progress photos every few weeks. Investing in myself in terms of education and mentors. I read 7 books in the first year of being under his coaching. The 2 highest value books I read were the 2 books he recommended, Atomic Habits and How to Win Friends and Influence People. Jack completely flipped my mindset. I moved out of my toxic house share and was now living in student halls in Wembley Park, which over time had become a home away from home for me. I actually started caring about myself again, going to the gym regularly, attending uni lectures regularly again. and started throwing myself towards football and running. Started making some decent goals for myself about May time, getting back into fitness, playing Sunday league, starting boxing training again, wanting to run a 5k without stopping. By the end of the year, I was regularly starting in a Sunday league side that I'd only joined in the summer. I ended up completing the Catch to 5k program and was running 5ks consistently throughout the year. I was regularly in the gym most weeks, and I even had the opportunity to have my first boxing fight on amateur rules with no head guard. In February, my body felt like it was giving me an ultimatum to start losing weight or your health would be on the line. 165 kilograms, constantly down, eating bad food and depressed with my situation. Jack came along and said that my health goals were achievable through hard work and to invest in myself by utilising his coaching. By October, I was 30 kilograms down and in a boxing ring, fighting on the Don's Fight Club. Once again, fighting on a platform that was created by a football team I watched throughout my teen years was incredible. And you know, when I had family travelling down from the Midlands to the South East London, the external pressure I felt to work hard and put in a good performance kept me getting fitter and stronger. Although I ended up losing this fight on decision, when you reflect on where I was at the start of the year, the idea that I was able to leverage external motivation and accountability from both my coach Jack and others, lose weight, improve my self-confidence, and ultimately be happier with myself as a person, I consider the progress I made as a big victory. I'll leave you with my closing words from the end of my fight in October 2021.
I just try and do this for every person, very much like people like who are overweight feel like they ain't getting anywhere in life. That's what I try and do. I try and inspire people. I think that what we put here tonight is just kind of a thing of like just don't give up. Obviously there's a lot of situations going into this fight that kind of didn't go my way, but I was like, either way I've got to get it done, I've got to get it in there, and I gave it my best shot. Unfortunately there's times where I could have got in closer, I could have really tried to make it pay, but you know, you got to give it up to him. Like, boxing's a fine modern sport and he had better of me today, but hopefully it's the last time you see me in here. And yeah, just thank you all for showing up. And
This won't be the last time you see Lyndon Coombs in the DFC ring. I promise you that. Yeah? He's fighting for a great cause. He's inspired a lot of us from afar. We've all tracked his journey. And I just want to jump up here especially and say, you will see Lyndon Coombs at DFC too. I promise you that.
Please welcome the first fighter coming to the ring, Lyndon Coombs.
I